Welcome to episode 4 of MotoPat. This time I'm heading out on an all interstate trip, unfortunately. And I'm going to Little Rock, Arkansas to give a talk for Sony and to kind of go with some people to a baseball game, which would be really fun. The problem is it's almost August. It's like July, August in the South, and it's raining like crazy. What I wanted to do is first go through and talk about big interstate trips, like cross-country trips. What do you have to have? What do you bring? There are certain things that I don't ever get on a bike without a riding jacket with, Kevlar in the corners and the shoulders, and then there's a back protector and stuff. But beyond that, I want to just show you what's in my top box. Now, there's typically 3 bags on a big road bike, and the top box is the one that's easiest to access. And the very first thing that's in here is a rain jacket. Now this is worn over the top of the riding jacket, so this is a larger one. So if you wear XL, you want a double XL rain jacket typically. This is great. This one's made by Tourmaster. They're all pretty good. If it's made for a motorcycle, it's going to be pretty much waterproof, at least for a while. This is a really nice pair of Frogtogs. These are really great because even when you're wearing riding boots, which are difficult to get on and off, in a gas station or whatever, Frogtogs are extremely lightweight. They won't weigh anything. They packed nothing. This right here is a set of waterproof pants, and I could put these on right over my riding pants, and they're fantastic. Then inside here, I've got the liner. This is the rain liner for my riding jacket, which is made by First Gear. And this zips in and becomes part of that jacket. And so probably when I leave tomorrow, this will be put into the jacket, very likely, because if you get a little bit of rain, you don't want to stop, pull over, and put a rain jacket on. You just want to keep going, and hopefully it'll dry out. But if it looks like it's got a black sky and you're heading into a big storm, you want to have this on, and then on top of that, you want to have the raincoat over it. The next thing I have in the top box is a hat, just a baseball cap, because I wear my hair really short. When you stop to eat or something like that, it's just really nice to not have hat head. And then you have your sort of in varying degrees. I have my what I'll call warm weather riding gloves. These are mechanics, which are sold at Home Depot and Lowe's. It's like a pair of work gloves. These are nice because they're not super hot. So these are great. So I start with these. Well, pair number 2 is a little heavier duty ones. This has leather on the top and the bottom. So these are another ones because like once your first pair of gloves get wet, it's very difficult to dry them quickly, unless you just went through a little squall and it's 90 degrees and sunny again, and then they dry out in 20 minutes, 15 minutes. But these are a little heavier duty, and notice that they do close with Velcro, so I can make them tight, which is really important because you don't want the rain coming in. So when these get wet, I have a pair of just work gloves that are 100% leather, cowhide. And these are just really comfortable. I really like these. Sometimes I'll start out riding with these. They're not as hot as you might think, but they're really good for my hands. And you can't get yellow hands though wearing these because the sort of dye that they use to make them the different colors will come off in your hands, and it doesn't come off right away. But these are also, so this is number 3. And number 4 are the ones that we don't really want to wear at all. Hopefully we won't have to wear them. And these are like the full-on hardcore waterproof motorcycle gloves. And if I have to put these on, it sucks because it just means it's going to rain like hell, and there's just no getting around it. I've got my registration, and I've also got my Progressive insurance card that shows this motorcycle being insured. The other 2 bikes are on here too. You really want to have that ready to go for the officer if you get pulled over. You just want to be a good steward that way. And then I've got a backup charging cord for the phone. These are really great. These are called Waze, W-A-Z-E. These are earbuds that are Bluetooth earbuds. They're fantastic. These things are $40. You buy them on Amazon. They are cheaper than Shure, they're cheaper than Apple, they're cheaper than everybody, and they sound better than everybody too. So the quality of sound is great, and you might be thinking, wait, dude, Are you listening to music as you ride real loud? No, I listen to books. And because this is going to be a long slog cross country on I-40, I'm going to be using Stephen King is going to come with me. Tommyknockers is the one. I have not read that book yet, so Stephen King is going to be my featured guest on my ride tomorrow. Oh yeah, I have 2 crush washers in here. This bike is going to stay out west. It's not going to come home, at least anytime soon. So I carry with me 2 crush washers. So when it's time to, whenever it's time to do the oil change, I'm ready to go. These are the actual Yamaha ones, whatever. I've got the GPS on the bike. It's ready to go. I wired that up the other day. I have the facility to have the phone also to use for navigation. But what's great is when you get out into the West, a lot of times you'll be where there's no cell service, depending on who your provider is. And it's really nice to have GPS. It's also boring. You know, the Interstate I-40 is boring. And having the GPS to play with a little bit on the road, you know, it kind of gives you hope too. You see how far you got to go, you know, where's gas, all that kind of stuff. Just, you know, it's just a nice thing to have. And it shows you the big picture. You can look at the map to look at the total trip and see how you're doing, how much you've knocked off and stuff like that. I'm getting ready. I've packed pretty much my clothing, which goes in a backpack. That'll go on the right saddlebag, which is larger. The left one's almost always smaller because the muffler's in the way. So the left bag is a little bit smaller than the right. So the big storage will be in there. That's where my laptop will go with all my clothing and my DOP kit. My camera probably will be in there. Otherwise, that's, you know, this is how you start. You kind of prep in the garage. I just changed the oil the other day, so I'm ready for that. And I'm excited. I can't wait to get going. So we'll talk to you in the morning when I'm getting ready to pull out. Thanks. Hey, good morning. It's time to leave, actually. But you got to take care of business first, right? So the first thing I'm going to do is mail some bills, put these in the mailbox out front, and I've got a check here that somebody wrote me. I've got a deposit on the way out of town, right front pocket. And the last thing I always do before I go on a big trip is tire pressure. You've got to do that, man. If you don't keep up with your tires won't take care of you. So I keep the tire pressures on my back deck lid. So it's 33 front, 42 rear. Really important to not use the tire pressure that's noted on the tire, but only go with the owner's manual. And we were low. On a big trip, you got to pay real close attention to your tire. Now you can't really see much looking at a tire this way, but when you come to the side, you get to kind of see the treads up close. And this tire's in good shape. However, out west, where I'm going to end up, back in Colorado, and in most western states, even including like Texas, man, they do some different asphalt out there. And you got to really pay attention to your tire in the summer heat. Hey, so I'm in Oklahoma. It's 101 degrees outside. I left from Little Rock about 2 o'clock today, and it is hot, man. I can only go about 100 miles, and I just have to stop for something to drink. So I found this truck stop with a walk-in beer cooler, and man, it feels so good in here. This is amazing. The only problem is I have to walk out of here. But I'm going to grab a Gatorade and keep riding. I've got about another 60 miles to go to get into Oklahoma City, where my favorite steak place is in the whole United States of America. It's called Cattleman's. And I will wait in line there, and I will pay a lot of money. I love to say that going to Cattleman's is an investment rather than an expense. It's so good. So, and then I'm going to make a decision about where I'm going to stay the night out on 40. My plan right now is to keep going on 40 West until Amarillo, and then I'll take off on, I think it's 87. It's a small, mostly 4-lane divided highway actually, but there's nobody on it. It's like in the middle of nowhere, and it goes directly to Raton Pass, which is at I-25, and that'll take me right out of New Mexico into southern Colorado and into Colorado Springs, which is my destination. So anyway, it feels really good in here, man. But it's time to get something to drink, so onward, off we go. So it's pretty windy. Hopefully you'll be able to hear okay, but I had business in Little Rock, and I stopped there for 2 days to give a talk for Sony, and then I got back on the road yesterday afternoon about 2 o'clock. I left very early this morning, about 5 a.m. It was so hot. Yesterday I saw a temperature of up to, the highest I saw was 104. But it was like 97 or 101 pretty much all day when I was riding. It was terrible. But I made it to my favorite steak place in the United States of America, which is called Cattleman's in Oklahoma City. And that's where I stayed the night. In the heat like this, you just have to stop every 100 miles and drink like 32 ounces of something. And so that's just an absolute must. You got to do it. I'm on Highway 87 north, so I-40 is down that way. I-40 kind of takes a dip to the south, and as I'm going northwest towards Colorado, I didn't want to do that. So I'm going to be hooking up here pretty soon to 87, and 87 is going to take me all the way to Raton Pass, which is really fun on a bike. It's terrible in a car. There's usually all kinds of people pulled over with blown radiators and overheating and stuff like that, but on a bike it's great. I've been riding since 5:15 this morning, so I needed to stop and just take a breather. I've been listening to Tommy Knockers from Stephen King. It's very good. It's always good to do something that really holds your attention when you're on a big, long trip. So, but I expect to get into Colorado Springs tonight. I'm not in any hurry, so if I see a cool road, I'll take off and go down there or whatever. But I'm having a good time. But it's going to be hot this afternoon, and so I'll be stopping a lot. But this morning was great, beautiful. Hey, this is Pat. I finished the ride. It was over a week ago that I got home. I did really well. Coming across country on the V-Strom was difficult because I'm used to this. This is my main bike. This is a GSA BMW. And I found the new Super Tenere to be fantastic. I think it's a great bike, and I'm so happy to have it out west. But I had to drive the V-Strom home, and it was a lot of heat and a lot of rain, and heat and rain is really hard mix, and you just have to keep putting stuff on and taking it off, and it's a drag. But what I'm going to do, I've been a little wordy in these videos, and I know I'm too wordy, and I'm going to fix that going forward. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick some internet music, and I'm going to give you some tips about long distance riding on a motorcycle that kind of will pull it all together and maybe help some of you figure out how to do that. If you've watched all 4 episodes, man, thanks for hanging in there. I am going to get better at this, and I'm definitely going to do better. So thanks for watching. I'm Pat Murphy Racy, MotoPat. See ya.